Welcome back to my YouTube channel. The most urgent stories are often the quietest. Lives lost in ordinary homes, overlooked by headlines and memory. These are stories of real people failed by the very systems meant to protect them. Today we remember Katrina Makunova and Sophie Kavanagh, two young women, strangers to each other but united by tragedy. Both were victims of domestic violence. Both asked for help. Both were let down. Their deaths weren't isolated incidents, but the result of missed warnings and systemic failures. By understanding their stories, we confront the uncomfortable truth. Domestic abuse is a societal problem, not a private one. Katrina dreamed of becoming a beautician. Sophie was a devoted mother. Their futures were stolen, their pleas ignored. We revisit their cases not to sensationalize, but to learn and to demand change. Let their names be remembered as a call for a safer future. Katrina Makunova was 17, living in South London, with dreams of a creative future, but her life was consumed by a toxic relationship with Oluwaseun Dada, possessive, violent and controlling. Katrina's world shrank as Dada's abuse escalated from emotional to physical. She bravely reported him to police again and again, even showing them video evidence and expressing fear for her life. Despite her repeated pleas, the response was slow and inadequate. The danger was clear, but no effective action was taken. On July 12, 2018, Katrina's worst fears came true. During an argument, Dada stabbed her with a knife she'd brought for protection. She died in her mother's arms, a teenager who did everything right but was failed by the system. Her future was erased. Katrina's story is a stark warning. When cries for help are ignored, tragedy follows. She was not just a victim, she was a young woman who deserved to be heard. The system's failure cost her everything. After Katrina's death, Oluwaseun Dada was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 23 years. But justice felt hollow for her family, who knew her death was preventable. An investigation found police failed Katrina on multiple levels, missing clear signs of escalating danger. Officers ignored her reports, failed to connect the dots, and took no decisive action. Some officers faced misconduct proceedings, but consequences were minimal. For Katrina's family, apologies and policy changes could never fill the void. Her case exposed urgent gaps in police training and response to domestic abuse. Katrina did everything she could. It was the system that failed. Her story demands we do better for those who ask for help. Sophie Kavanagh, a 31-year-old mother of two, tried to escape years of abuse from Martin Kavanagh. After leaving him, his harassment escalated, stalking, threats and break-ins. Sophie reported him to police multiple times, desperate for protection. Just days before her death, she called police in panic as Martin tried to break in. Officers responded but took no urgent action. On May 22, 2011, Martin broke in again and killed Sophie in a brutal attack. Her children were in the house. The warnings were clear, the danger obvious, but the system failed to intervene. Sophie's life ended not just because of her abuser, but because her pleas were not met with action. She was a loving mother, doing everything she could to protect her children. The system that should have shielded her did nothing. Her death was preventable. Sophie's murder devastated her family. Her parents left to raise her children, their lives forever changed. Martin Kavanagh was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. The court heard of his years of control and violence. The judge called it a savage, sustained attack, but the sentence brought little comfort. Sophie's family believed her death could have been prevented if police had acted on her reports. Their grief was compounded by a sense of betrayal from those meant to protect her. The tragedy rippled outward. Two children lost both parents in one night. Sophie's case is a stark reminder: harassment and stalking are red flags for lethal violence and must be treated as such. Katrina Makunova and Sophie Kavanagh were more than statistics. They were daughters, a mother, and individuals with dreams. Their stories reveal a fatal flaw in our response to domestic abuse: warnings ignored, victims unprotected. Both women bravely sought help, but the system failed them. These are not isolated cases, but symptoms of a deeper problem. To honor them, we must demand real reform, better police training, urgent response, and true accountability. Domestic abuse is a community issue. We all have a role to play. Let their names remind us of the cost of inaction. Are we safer now? Not yet. By telling their stories, we refuse to let their deaths be in vain. Their memory is a call to action for empathy, accountability, and a future where everyone is safe at home.